Welcome back into ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra. We want to say thank you for rocking with us and throughout the entire show. We appreciate you for making ATL Day Ones your first listen of the day. And remember, wherever you download your podcast, make sure you give us a 5-star review. Now, y'all, I don't want y'all to get upset. I don't want y'all to get mad because we have Ross Jackson of Locked On Saints joining us today. Like we said, we teased it. We talked about it throughout the week. We asked questions, and he is finally here. Ross Jackson, man, I got to start off with this because a lot has been made about Sean Payton and him not being there and how the Saints offense is going to look. And I know how you kind of told me how you feel about them, but, and I've been one of those people to bring it up a lot in conversations when it comes to Saints Falcons. What are your thoughts on Sean Payton not being there and Pete Carmichael finally being the play caller for the New Orleans Saints?
Yeah, look, I think that there are a lot of New Orleans Saints players that will tell you that Pete Carmichael is the mastermind, right? And so, of course, Like a lot of that is about gassing up your guy and all these other things. So, you take that for what it is. But there is some reality in that Pete Carmichael is one of the original architects of that New Orleans Saints offense that we've seen since 2006 until about 2018, where it was sort of rebuilt, and he was a big part of pioneering that rebuild as well, one that was a little bit more of a condensed, laterally attacking offense. And so I think that Pete Carmichael is one of those guys that maybe goes under the radar a bit because he doesn't have a big personality. He doesn't really seem to be the type of guy that wants to be out in front, wants to be a head coach, anything like that. He just kind of wants to do what he loves, which is kind of be this mastermind, on the X's and O's. And so that's sort of what he's focused on. And so I'm confident in Pete Carmichael's ability as a play caller. It's one that's sort of inherently aggressive, which I think will counteract what it is that maybe Dennis Allen as a defensive head coach will want to do on the offensive side, which might be a little bit more ball control. So I think that the healthy balance between the two of them will end up benefiting. But look, you lose Sean Payton, right? It's one of the best play callers in the NFL, one of the best offensive minds in the NFL. So I expect this New Orleans Saints offense to still have a lot of its tenets in place, but I'm not going to say that they're going to come out there and start putting up, 400 or 500 yard total games right away, right? It's going to be a lot of ball control. It's going to be a lot of clock management to begin this season, in my opinion.
All right, so I'm glad you brought up ball control because obviously when you talk about ball control, you're talking about running the football and being successful, right? And I think that Alvin Kamara, if you look at the two games last year between these two teams, you saw that, hey, if the Saints have success running the football with Alvin Kamara, it's going to be a long day for the Falcons. So do you see Pete Carmichael doing that, making sure that Alvin Kamara get as many touches as possible?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're going to see the ball in Alvin Kamara's hands a ton on Sunday. And I think a big part of that is understanding that Deion Jones is not going to be a part of this Atlanta Falcons defense. And even when he was last year, it was a defense that was third worst in the NFL when it comes to EPA per play, which is just a measurement that takes into account efficiency in terms of a down, distance, game situation, all those things. Basically just a way to say how successful is a team on a play-by-play basis. And that Atlanta Falcons defense was third worst in the NFL, just ahead of the Jacksonville Jaguars and New York Jets. Not great company. And that was with A.J. Terrell on the field, who's an elite outside corner. And that was with Deion Jones, who is an elite linebacker, but he's not going to be a part of this game plan. Foye Oluokun is now over in Jacksonville. Those are big losses in the middle of that Atlanta Falcons defense. So I expect to see the New Orleans Saints attack the middle of the defense. One of the ways that they'll do that is by stretching the defense laterally, by getting Alvin Kamara out in space to either side, running the ball up the middle with Mark Ingram, and then, of course, attacking over the middle with the tight ends, with a guy like Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry, but also Alvin Kamara. So you're going to see Alvin Kamara in every element of that conversation, attacking that Atlanta front seven.
I do want to ask you about Michael Thomas and that potential matchup between he and A.J. Terrell. Before we do that, I definitely got to tell the folks about Coffee AM. It is the best small batch coffee roaster in the entire country. But let me tell y'all, each and every day, you see how Ross is laughing because he understands what's about to go down. I'm about to tell y'all what this thing is. Go to the website, coffeeam.com/locked on. That is the website you need to go to. Now I'm about to tell you why you need to go there, because it is the best small batch coffee roaster in the entire country. I start my day with those Kenya K-Cups. Oh, my God. When I go into my cabinet and look at that and smell that coffee grind, Ross, I promise you, I promise you, it's so, it makes me search my soul, but understand that I'm glad I got up today.
You don't gotta drink it. You don't gotta drink it. You smell it, and then you're like,
right, yeah,
like
I can smell it, and then I'm like, I'm good. Like, I don't even need it. And like, when I actually do drink it and do take the time out and consume this coffee, I am wide awake. I go for 12 to 14 hours a day because I got to get my workout on. I got a lot of stuff to do throughout the day. So I think you guys understand how important it is for you to go to the website. Now, once you get there, here's the incentive, right? Once you get to coffeeam.com/locked on, go ahead and drop in the coupon code box. Locked on, you're going to get 15% off that doggone first order. That's on coffee, gift sets, and teas. Whatever you want, go ahead and do it. So go to coffeeam.com/locked on. Drop in the coupon code box locked on. You're going to get 15% off your first order. Go ahead and pull up on the best small batch coffee roaster in America. Now, I talked about that matchup with Michael Thomas and AJ Terrell. I think it's going to be something that's going to be very important. Now, I think the Falcons and the Saints have something similar, right? They have their lead wide receivers. As far as, Drake London, he's been limited all week, and there may be some issues that Michael Thomas may be dealing with. Are we going to see Michael Thomas versus AJ Terrell on Sunday, Ross?
Yeah, I think so. I've seen Michael Thomas in practice these last couple of days. He's been listed as limited, but even just watching him in walkthroughs and things like that, he looks good. He looks to be moving fine. I think that this is all kind of a product of Matt Rhea, who the New Orleans Saints added from Alabama not too long ago as their new director of sports science, who is a specialist when it comes to soft tissue injuries. He reduced Alabama's soft tissue injuries by 50% year over year once they bought into his practices. Wow. And so I think that that's a part of like the innovation that the New Orleans Saints are looking for in terms of their injury and their medical issues. Remember last year, 58 different starters NFL record there between injuries and COVID and things like that. And so I think that the byproduct of what Matt Rhea is doing is a careful approach. And a part of that is what you're seeing with Michael Thomas, with Pete Werner, with Eric McCoy, these guys that are limited on the injury report. But I do think you're going to see the heavyweight bout that is AJ Terrell going up against Michael Thomas on Sunday, barring anything unforeseen.
And I think the Falcons and Arthur Smith, who is, when Drake London was hurt in the first preseason game, I think they're taking that same approach as being very careful. I don't see him not being on the field on Sunday as well. So now Jameis Winston. Now, I got to ask you about this. Like, what the hell was he talking about? Talking about my knees, touching my elbows.
Head, shoulders, knees, and all toes, that.
Baby.
Like, head,
what?
Shoulders, knees, and toes.
Like, just sing the song then. Like, if that's what it is, Ross, just let him sing the song, bro. Like, because I just got lost in that 30-second video clip. Please tell me how that happened, because I know you were there.
Yes, it's been a theme all throughout New Orleans Saints training camp. I mentioned Matt Rhea. One of the things that he's brought to as an emphasis is bilateral training. And Jarvis, I know you know this well. The idea that if you have something wrong on one side, that you don't need to only focus on, let's say, that left knee. You need to focus on the right leg so that you're not overcompensating certain things and stuff like that. And so making sure you're building all this up. So the Saints have developed this new approach to where they'll work out a left leg, work out a right leg, work out a left arm, work out a right arm, and then see where there are deficiencies. If there's a deficiency or there's any type of pain or anything that needs to be managed in the left leg, then they're going to line you up in practice a few more times over on the right side so that you're boosting off of your right foot. You're exploding off your right foot as opposed to your left leg, things like that. And so that's basically where he was going with it, but then he took it a step further to kind of explain like joints effectively. And so, I really listen, I love covering Jameis Winston so much because I think that he is such a fun personality. He's such a genuinely good person. Yeah. But there are these moments where like he says things and I'm like, do you go back to the locker room and say, guess what I got them to do? Guess what I got them to do today? Because there were like 3 or 4 different media members that were like, knees, it's knees. I know what it is. You know what I mean? And so,
like, we're literally answering the question.
I got him. Jameis is smart, man. I know he knows what he's doing.
Yes, he's definitely a guy that, you look at and you say, yeah, he can't be serious. And, crazy as a fox, I think is a perfect term for, or a phrase that is. Now, last but not least, before I'll let you go, Ross, I got to ask you this question. All seriousness, man. No jokes right here.
All right, ready.
How much do the Saints lose by on Sunday?
They don't lose by any on Sunday is the answer to that question. The New Orleans Saints are going to win this game, man. I don't know if they're going to cover that 5.5 point spread that BetOnline's
That's a
got
big
them set
number,
for. I don't know if
man.
they're going to cover all that. Yeah, this is an away game. Like this is a divisional game, like all that. But look, I was on the plane this morning. I saw a lot of New Orleans Saints fans that are going to be stepping up into that Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Don't be surprised if it feels like a home game at Atlanta for
Stomach
the New
hurt
Orleans
already,
Saints.
man.
I already got it. I got the pains. My
stomach started to cringe already. All that etouffee and everything, I can just smell it right here in my house out there on the east side of Atlanta, man.
Just smelling like gumbo. Like we're ready.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm gonna come over there and give me a cup of it, but they don't mean I have to like it.
That's right. Yeah, you can eat it mean. You can eat it angry.
Just be frowning like a bug.
That's all we care about.
Love this shrimp though. Well, Ross Jackson, man, I appreciate you. I thank you for joining ATL Day Ones. We don't go anywhere, guys. We got For the Culture coming up next. We're gonna talk about Onyeka Okongwu and all the good things that he's been doing, and Michael Harris is out here dropping some bread on some really good calls. We'll talk about all that next right here on ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and T. We'll be right back.